Hello and welcome to Rise and Shine. I am Melissa Bakar, the consultress, here to bring you conversations from the front line of innovation, entrepreneurship, and business about what's happening in this age of disruption, this new normal that is nowhere near normal and absolutely definitely new. I get the privilege and pleasure of talking to people from around the globe about innovation and entrepreneurship, and I'm happy to bring these conversations live here to you. So today, with me, I have the fantastic, the wonderful Bob McIntosh. How are you this morning?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Right on, man. We met once upon a time at a real estate investor meetup, and you had such lovely things to say about marketing and innovation and how to bring leads. But your personality is larger than life, and you're pretty much like a friend to all and Mr. Traveler. So I'm excited to call you friend and to have the opportunity to have these conversations. So tell us a little bit about you and what you're up to in your work and in your life, so we can start to talk about some of the theories and things that make us excited in today's new age.
I've been a real estate investor for a long time, still own a bunch of properties and buying more as I go along. But my day job, if you will, is we run a digital marketing company. So we help mostly real estate investors, but several other kinds of businesses as well. Just use the internet to get better leads, make more money, do all the good things and all the stuff there. I won't go into the nitty gritty of it, but internet is a very, very powerful thing for most business owners. So we help them tap into the best that they can within that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get to travel while I do that. One of the big reasons that I really took to this particular business versus anything else is that it afforded me the freedom. So, ironically, I'm actually not traveling for a bit. I've been basically since February of 2020, just before COVID, all but about a year of that on the road permanently. Just traveling, visiting places, mostly in the United States. Obviously, during COVID, it was kind of hard to get out of the States, but just got back from London and Italy not too long ago, which was amazing. Going to Costa Rica on Sunday. So all over the place, but I still love it.
Yeah, man, that's great. So tell me about your decision to stay put for a bit. What inspired that after 4 years of being a digital nomad?
Yeah, well, a lot of things. There's couple of primary things. One, at a certain point, for me at least, I just reached a point. I was like, I just want to be somewhere for a little bit. I think maybe had my travel. A lot of my travel was event based, so I was going back and forth to events in different places, which is great for the business and all of that. If I had maybe stayed places a little bit longer, I might still be on the road. But there's a certain point when you spend 3 to 5 days in a hotel or Airbnb and you're in a different one every 3 to 5 days that it kind of starts to wear a little bit on you. So at least for me, it did anyways. And then number two is, I'm still technically single. And so, I'm looking to maybe find someone. It's a little difficult to make that happen when you're on the road 24/7, 365. So we'll see what happens there. And then the third part is, at least for right now, I wanted to be someplace warm for the winter, and I'm in Tampa, St. Pete area, and a little bit warmer than Buffalo, where I grew up.
Yeah, that just got dumped a whole bunch of snow a couple weeks ago. I live 3 hours south of Buffalo, so I am in the frozen tundra right
Yep.
now. So I can feel the desire to be someplace warm for sure. I actually have a heated floor mat, so that I
Ooh,
can
that's nice.
stay nice and toasty and dress like it's spring. So in this, we were talking a little bit before we went live about this being the age of disruption and like kind of having to innovate as we go, as we see trends changing or beliefs or philosophies changing. What's something that you've noticed in your business endeavors or in some of your conversations that's kind of tipping over into a new normal? What's innovating out there? What trends are you noticing?
Yeah, so in the world of marketing, the buzz and everything new is all about AI, but more specifically, I want to talk about this, I think. So at this point, it's been a little over a year that we've seen AI kind of go, I'll say mainstream in terms of, I mean, it's been around for a long time, but be, publicly adopted. It was, really about December or so of 2021, and it really kind of took off, or sorry, 2022. And here's the thing that I'm noticing. Almost every marketing company out there in business has adopted AI in some capacity, even if it's just using the basic ChatGPT to write content or information, right? But what that has done is it has flooded the market with information and content that is subpar, because people have used AI as an excuse to not put the effort in anymore. And while it is a great tool, it is simply still that. It's a tool, right? It's not a replacement for somebody. And so what I find interesting is you see all this information and content, and it's just because this is just the nature of what AI is right now. It's not really AI, right? It's just it's language models that are mimicking information. It tries to generalize and summarize information, and because of that, the content that we're seeing put out there is very generic and kind of useless. I won't say useless in a complete fashion, but it's just regurgitated information. It's not unique thought. It's not directed thought. It's not specific to niches. It's just really basic. It's the pumpkin spice latte of content.
Yeah, basic.
Right. And so and so what we're seeing happen now is it's almost like background noise, right? Like the noise level has increased to the point where it's like it's just all garbage and we just have tuned it out. And so there's an opportunity for folks who still use AI, but use it in a directed way to create your own thoughts faster, but still put you into it. I think that's the part that a lot of folks are missing. And I think that's also the opportunity for folks right now out there to increase your speed of implementation of your unique pieces, not use it as a replacement for you. And I'm going to tell you right now, anyone out there, especially if you're a business owner, if you're using AI to just generate stuff without any forethought or any, what's the best way to say this? If there's no you inside of the content that you're generating, the information that you're using AI to help you with, then there's no point in doing it. Honestly, you might as well, it's just, okay. From a marketing standpoint, obviously there's other AI tools outside of the world of marketing that have uses in a lot of ways. But when it comes to marketing content ideas and all of that, don't just do it because everyone else said you should. Do it because you actually have some thought process behind it and you actually have something of value to add to people, and you will stand out above the fray.
That is very encouraging, because those of us out here who have been doing everything creatively and manually from the dawn of time. I love what you said about increasing the speed of your implementation. I feel like having that tool by my side, I mean, I do use AI in a couple of, I would call it fringe ways right now. And it's something like, all right, I'm going to give my email program a subject, and I'm going to type in a sentence or two and give it, some room to write me some content. But that gives me something to whittle from. It doesn't give me something to send. It gives me like that rough draft, like, all right, I'm going to cut 50%, maybe sometimes 70% of this stuff out. I'm going to keep the basic bones and framework and then say what I really want to say. Because if you ever had writer's block about writing what you want to say to people, but you get stuck, I find that to be a great tool.
Yeah.
How else have you seen it benefit those unique voices? Because I want to highlight, you made a really big distinction between the general noise level and the garbage volume of content that's out there. How does one distinguish a unique voice from the fray?
Yeah. So there's a couple of things that you can do with this. And I'll kind of go in a hierarchy of goodness, what's best, I guess, but good, better, best, if you will. For those of you who are actively really trying to get out there, the best thing you can do is you can go to ChatGPT on the paid version, and you can create your own language learning model of you, right? You input your content, you train it to speak like you. That's going to help it at least generate better content for you off the bat. But here's the thing. All of AI, the only thing that AI, actually this is sort of a pet peeve of mine. What we're calling AI isn't AI, and that actually I think it's kind of a terrifying concept. We can get into all of that if you will at some point, but AI is not really AI. AI is learning language models. That's what we have right now. So all it's doing is it's saying I have access to an insane amount of data, and I can correlate what you're asking, interpret based on the words that you chose to put in, or the information input. I can interpret and output based on literally billions of data points. And so the problem with that is that it's not thinking for itself, right? That's why it's not really AI. It's simply looking at the available information and deducing the most probable outcome of what you're looking for from the information it has access to. And so when we look at how to stand out, you stand out by having your own unique thoughts. Now, you might have the same thoughts as other people out there, sure, right? Like if I'm not the only one talking about AI being, content being garbage and standing above the fray. There's plenty of people talking about that, but I'll put my unique spin on it, my thought, my why that's happening, right? So use AI as a base to get you, kind of like you said, as an idea, a starting point, an elaboration, a kickoff point, a launch point, whatever you want to call it. You can start there. But if you want to stand out, you got to have something unique to say, and not necessarily unique as in it's never been said before, but your take on why this thing needs to be heard from you. And also understand this. I love that there's a phrase. It's like, some of us sometimes need to hear the same message, but from a different messenger. Right. And I'm guilty of this. We all are, right? Someone might tell us the same thing 15 times and we don't hear it. And then we hear the same thing from someone different. We go, oh my God, that's a great idea. And then another person goes, I told you that 15 times.
Okay. So married couples in the audience, can we relate?
Right. But sometimes we just need to hear that. And so having your own unique thoughts around something and just simply using AI to expand upon that, make the implementation faster, help with the repetitive portions of it, but don't rely on it to create your ideas for you. Because if you do that, it can only repeat what's out there. There's no uniqueness to it. And that just means you're gonna fade into the noise.
Yeah. Yeah. And fading into the noise, oh my God, is that every entrepreneur's worst nightmare? Right? I'm a commodity that is, competitive with everybody else just on price, because that's the only differentiator of me. It's nightmare talk. So you talked about good.
And hang on. I'm going to interrupt just real quick because I think there's an important point about this. Too many entrepreneurs that I talk to look at the noise on social and assume that there's either A, no way to do it, or B, it's pointless to. And because of those two mentalities, they immediately place low value on social media. Look, I have my own thoughts about social. The reality is, if I could do all of my business without social media, I 100% would. However, it's an insane tool when done the right way. And if you place the appropriate value to its utility, it can be a huge piece for you. But I think the reason why so many people put out garbage when using AI to put out garbage is because they see social media as garbage, and therefore they associate the same value to it. So it's not worth their effort. But I tell you right now, if you simply change your perceived value of what social can do for you, you will change the output that it can give to you.
I'm gonna let that marinate here.
Yeah. And sorry to interrupt. It's an important distinction.
I was interrupting you. So if this is what dialogue is, this is a one take to production show, ladies and gents. So you're going to see how Conversations Live actually work. We're not going to polish this up and pretend that we don't go, oh, wait, hold on a second, tangent. So back to the tangent, though, about good, better, and best ways to use AI. We have get the paid version of ChatGPT so that you can train it to your language model, which AI is not actually thinking, it is actually training on what's already out there. You said there were two other things that you would recommend to come and kind of get yourself noticed above the noise.
Yeah. So the second is going to be utilize it to generate ideas quicker. So for example, when I'm looking at a client and we're launching, let's say, for example, a new paid advertising campaign, there are AI tools that I can go out there and say, give them all the competitors. It will look at their top producing content and give me a list of ideas. And then I can take those ideas and say, okay, based on that, what I know about the client, what do I think they need to do differently from that? But I also have a starting point, right? AI, the second best use of AI for you as a business owner is simply to correlate and aggregate as much data and sift through that data quicker. Because the reality is, we did all of this before as an agency, right? I would go through every single client, look at all their posts, search through it, right? It just took me a week or 2 weeks to go through and correlate the information that I can now enter in about an hour and spit out the same thing that took me 2 weeks to get before. I'm still going to use it in the same way. The output is not the end result. The output is a starting point. But the difference is I can do that faster. And that's where a lot of entrepreneurs also, I think, miss the boat. They think AI is a replacement tool. It's not a replacement for things. It just gets the starting points, or to a certain point of decision that you need to make. It helps you get there faster. That's all it's really doing right now. And then the third and probably I'll say least useful for it is actual content creation. It can do a lot of cool things. Don't get me wrong. Like they're like, especially when it comes to like image creation for like advertising and just where I need, like let's just say I'm running a Facebook ads campaign for something, right? I might run through over the course of a month, 100+ images. So the reality is I can have AI spit out 100 images in about 15-20 minutes, versus me having to go search through a website myself to find those 100 images, download them, buy them, all of that. That might have taken me, 2 days worth of time to do over the course of a month, whereas I can do that in an hour or two now, realistically. So again, it comes back to that faster thing. But if you're just relying on it for content creation purposes and nothing else, you're missing out on the boat of what it can really do for you to expand things out there and get things done faster for you.
Mm. Acceleration information. Is this the new way we should title what AI means? Because it's not intelligence, it's not thinking for us. It's just accelerating the information that we have access to in a way that is easier to, what did you say? Correlate, aggregate, and then sift.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Now, where my brain goes about, creating content is, some people just create content because they have a message. Some people create content because it's for vanity purposes. And you mentioned, social media and how it can be perceived as garbage, or it can be a very, very, very useful tool. So I want to just shine the light here on me personally. When I first started doing this podcast thing, I didn't know it was a podcast at first. I was just like, hey, I'm having amazing conversations with people. Other people should be able to hear that and be in the room where it happens, So I started just putting it up on social to make it a place where people can go to look through the archive to say,
Right.
oh, you've been doing this for a while. Let me go and check that out. For me, it was just a place where I could gain momentum and be able to place these conversations in, places like Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn for different purposes in each place, mind you. But this podcast isn't a representation of my products and services. It's a way for people to gain access to interesting philosophical information and have a chance to get to know me and the people that I get to know in a way that isn't directly like, hi, I'm going to pitch you. So that's kind of the power that I've seen on social is, having people have a place to research or due diligence on a person or a business and say, oh, that's interesting. It's more, it's a quicker way for people to get to know you without having to have that phone call 100 times or having to come to all your webinars. So what's your take on social media as a benevolent tool or as a useful tool?
Yeah, I think you nailed it with what you said. So look, the as a business owner, right, and I want to quantify this. As a consumer of social media, you won't find me on social media. Like me personally, I don't interact with a lot of people on social media. I have about 10 or 15, maybe 10 to 15 people that I actively follow and consume their content. And they're all people who are where I want to go because I want to see what they're up to because I want to know how do I get to where they are. Like that's my goal, right? And this is not to say that if I don't interact with you, that I don't, care about you or value your friendship or anything like that. I simply understand that for me, social media is a tool. It's a way for me to learn from those where I want to be. And it's a way for me to help those who are below me get to where I am. And it's a tool to help my business grow. And here's the thing, as time has gone on, and I think about this a lot when we look at, business and building that, right? I remember, and this is a little story. My dad had his own business before we got into real estate. He sold, him and his dad, my grandpa, built a I think they were doing like 16 million a year when they finally sold it, a business. So sizable business, right? Selling antique auto parts for Fords from the 1909s to the 1970s. So talk about hyper niche, right? And it was a mail order business, right? You would call in, you would get a catalog in the mail, you would look through it, you'd say, I need these things. You'd call in, because it was before the website was a thing, and you would place your order. And I remember thinking about how much easier it was to get people to make a purchase back then. There was a lot less hoops to jump through. Today, if we look at it right now, and especially in the real estate space specifically, just because I know that better, the number of touch points it requires for someone to make a decision has dramatically increased. When I first got started in this back in 2008, 2009, it was about 6 to 7. That's how many touch points it required. Now we're seeing it to be closer to 14. Okay. So you might say to yourself, oh my God, that's absurd. Like, if you're thinking as a business owner, I have to do so much more work. And it's true. You have to touch people more, not in that way. Let's qualify that. We got to reach out to them more. But the ways in which we can automate that have become faster. So social media is that tool. It's a way for someone to get to know more about you. And I'm going to tell you right now, your business, and I don't care what it is. I don't care if you're an individual, you're an influencer, you're a local business, you're an online business, you're a real estate company, you're a whatever, right? I guarantee you this. If your social presence is on point and you're putting out content, you will find two things to always be true. Number one, your conversations that you have with potential customers, clients, prospects, whatever, will be easier. They will go faster. They will get to the end result that you want more often than not, because those people who choose to initiate with you have probably already gone through your social content and determined that you are someone that they deem worth their time, can solve their problem, help them get their solution, whatever it is that they're after you for, right? They've already done that. And number two, you will also find over time, not at the beginning, but over time, leads and people that you want in your business will naturally magnetically attract themselves to you, right? So I look at what, I've been doing social media now actively since about 2010 as a business owner. So we're talking 14 years of effort into this. And what happens now is I can post, perfect example, I just posted yesterday a video about SEO. That's one of the service offerings that we do. It wasn't a sales pitch. I didn't say, hey, if you want SEO stuff, come get me. I simply said, here's some information about SEO that you probably need to know if you're going to hire someone to do it, right? Or you're thinking about doing it. And because of that, I had 2 people reach out to me and say, hey, I have questions about this. Can we chat? That's it. It wasn't a sales pitch. I didn't say, I think I might have put in the text, if you want, DM me if you have questions, right? Like that's about as sales pitchy as it got. And I had 2 people reach out to me simply because I posted a video about that. Now that didn't happen because I posted a video. That happened because I've been posting videos and content for 14 years doing this stuff. So people know that if they have questions in the space, they can come to me. And it may not be that these questions may have been lingering in their mind for months or years even, but it's finally that one video that I posted that one time, that one message today from this messenger, strike the conversation to have them do that. And that's what social media can be if you look at it as the right way. But too often we try to apply old school mentality and methodologies to social media, and it doesn't work, right? Like I have clients all the time. Well, what's the ROI of that? I can't tell you. It's very hard to track what ROI is on social media, right? Because maybe they saw 15 videos from you before they finally contacted you. How do I associate each of those videos as an ROI? Was it all 15? Was it just the last one? Was it the first one that they saw? Like, you know what I mean? Like it becomes difficult. So rather than looking at it as a specific tool to track specific numbers, look at your presence as a whole as an information gathering, and understand that your ability to persuade and influence increases a billionfold when you utilize social media versus when you don't, in the right way. If you're just posting just to post because someone told you to, it's probably not going to work. Like anything, effort in is results out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you're using AI or when you're using social media, crap in, crap out.
Yeah.
If you're going to be intentional and use it to help you to magnify your message or to say something profound in a faster way, yay, go do it. And I love the perspective that when you're doing something and being something consistently, people start to gravitate towards you. And that, social media presence and using AI to generate content that's meaningful can help to, close the gap in your timeline. They can have 14 touches just by going to your different profiles and seeing what you've got out there.
Yep.
I love that message. It's very encouraging over here. Thank you. Now, we tend to use Rise and Shine as a short form for people to jump in and get a couple nuggets of wisdom. So those are some of the things that I've heard here today. Bob, where would you have people go for more information, either about what we've chatted about here, resources, tools? I heard you say, pay for ChatGPT to have it learn your language model. Don't be thoughtless when you're using it for content creation or in your social strategies, but anything other learning, books, products, anything else you would recommend, or places where people should come to look for your services before we close out for this time?
Yeah, so here's what I'd say. One of the things that I've done, and I put this together to make it easier for folks, is I have a training. It's about an hour and a half training called the Social Supremacy Framework, and it's designed to help business owners, influencers, or individuals who want to, gain traction online. It's designed to help you go through a process. It'll take you about 15 hours to go through the process. So it's an in-depth piece, and the training is about an hour and a half, but it'll help you create what you should talk about for an entire year. So this way you can be intentional. And when we talk about intentionality, this is what it is. It's having a thought process behind why you're on social versus just being on it because someone told you should. And so it's a free training, access to it. Best way to get access to that is just message me. If you go to the number 3DC, so go3dc.com/Bob McIntosh, just my name all together. So go3dc.com/Bob McIntosh. On there, you can download my contact card, all my socials. Just reach out to me. I'll be happy to send you the show. Just let me know that you saw me on this lovely podcast here, and I'll send it along. And the intent behind that is this, right? When we approach, and this is true for anything in business, but especially when it comes to social media, if we approach it with intentionality, if we approach it with a thought process behind why we're doing it and a direction that we're trying to take it, the outcome of that will always be better than just randomly posting things because I thought about it today. Just like anything, you probably, if you're a business owner, you didn't start your business and go, well, I think I'm going to sell this today. And then tomorrow, well, maybe I'll do this. And then the next day, oh, maybe this, right? You were intentional of here's step A, B, C, D. Approach your social media in the same way, and you will have results, right? And then there's a lot more that we can, get into if you guys have, I go to my pages. I post content pretty regularly all the time on everything digital. Even if you never buy anything from me, you're going to get a ton of value by going to it. And by the way, that's what you should be aiming to do in your social, because what will happen is people will naturally reciprocate by wanting to work with you for your services.
Boom. You heard it
Boom.
here. Go 3dc.com/Bob McIntosh. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure to be here with Bob this morning. I hope you have gotten a ton of freaking value. I know I have. I always leave these conversations better than when I went into them. So, Bob, thanks a million for being here this morning.
I appreciate it. And for all of you listening, tuning in, watching, appreciate your time. It's the most important thing you can give. So I don't take it lightly.
Yes. Amen. So if you have loved this or you have some comments, drop us some notes on social or right here on the YouTube channel. Love to hear your thoughts, what nuggets of wisdom you are taking away with you from watching this conversation. And we will see you on social. And I am here every single Monday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, with this Rise and Shine broadcast, bringing you amazing conversations from the front line of innovation in this age of disruption. So click like, click subscribe, make sure you have the bell on for notifications, and we will see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. So long, everybody. See you soon.